Hello everybody. Welcome to my channel, Venus and Aries, and I'm here with another pre-upload, and I'm going to be doing a reading on the African American slaves, part 2 from 1865 to, 1750 to 1865. I'm going to be honest, you guys, I'm nervous, not because of this reading, but because of the issues I've been having going on in my building, in my apartment with electrical services. It's like me and 25 other people in my building that's going through this, where the electric just shuts off. It'll shut off in an hour, and it'll shut off for like 5 minutes, or it'll shut off for like an hour. One time it shut it off for like 3 hours. One time I had an anthropology test and it shut off in the middle of me doing my test. I had to wait till the next day and go to my college and do it. Luckily, I had a teacher who was cool. Not to mention, my teacher kind of put the test up 2 days late himself, so he wasn't tripping. Thank God. But I could have got in trouble with my school, and I'm tired of complaining about it to my owner. I called the electric company. The electric company has said, they're coming out, they're doing their part and all that. I just don't like my apartment because they tried to come at me like, they tried to come at me like, oh, you need to call a electrician. And I'm like, bitch, do I live in a house? That's what I pay you rent for. Like, you talking to me like, this is why I need to hurry to get a house. Like, don't come at me like that when I'm in an apartment paying you rent. That's your job. I moved in here with this apartment acting like this. So, of course, I'm going to move when my lease is up in a couple of months, of course. But I'm just nervous because I don't want to be in the middle of my video, and because the internet shuts off too. It's the electric, and they got to fix the sockets, and it's a problem outside of my control, And so I'm nervous about that. So I'm going to be honest. If it shuts off, y'all may see, even though it's part 2, y'all may see 2 or 3 uploads, and it's still going to say the African American slaves, part 2, 1750 to 1865 part 2. It's still going to say that, but it may be like 2 or 3 videos, and let's just hope it don't, because I'm not going to sit here and lie and act like this video is going to be like quick. It's not going to be quick, especially with the questions that was sent to me. Shout out to all my subscribers who sent me questions. Wasn't that many of y'all. It was like one of y'all, honestly, and the other, well, I had questions asked in the comments, so I take that back. It was 2 of y'all. I had a person, a subscriber, ask me to do a reading on the Indian. So I take it that she must be Indian or white, whatever. She wanted me to do a reading like that for the Indian people. And I told her, like, look, I love historical facts like that. Let's do it. But I'm not Indian. I don't know too much. It's not my culture. So you have to send your questions. This person never sent the question, so it's like, you have to be serious. If you want me to read on historical figures, yes. If you want me to read on celebrities, I charge for that, yes. But historical figures, stuff that's going to help educate you and learn your history, especially if it's your culture, you can email me, but you have to send at least 5 questions. And I actually do my research. I will read a little bit on your culture, and I will do a reading on it. Sometimes I don't have to read it, but yeah. Let's get started, you guys. I wrote a question down. Shout out to one of my subscribers tonight. Shout out to you, because you literally hit me up and sent every single you had a lot of questions. In fact, some of your questions, it's not really historical. It's more pertaining to how the patriarchy, the Pan-African community act today. So a lot of your questions tonight, I wrote down 3 of your questions I'm definitely going to ask, but the other questions, because you sent me like maybe 10 of them, the other 7 questions, I'm going to have to put it in a different type of video. Like, what's the energy around the black people, or the African American people today when it comes to certain, just I'm gonna have to put that in a different topic, because this is more like historical. Or if I do the African American people from 1865 to today, then I can add those questions, which I probably will. Okay, so let's get started. All right, y'all. bear with me, bear with me. If you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by and checking me out. I do celebrity readings, zodiac sign readings. I go live, not a lot though, and I probably won't be going too much, but I go live sometimes. I do celebrity readings. I charge for celebrity requested readings, so that's how that goes. Okay, so when I did my part 1, we talked about the African American slaves in Africa from 1750 to 1865. The Orishas came through. Okay, the Orishas is the the Africans' ancient ancestors, my ancient ancestors. There are ancient ancestors, so they showed up. I noticed that Ogun showed up. He is the Orisha of iron. Okay, and when slavery went down, there was a lot of black men who were blacksmiths, who were metal workers, who built, okay, when they went over and built America. So that energy was the energy of Ogun surrounding them and helping them, you know, through this journey and, you know, creating and building things. They had that energy of Ogun surrounding them to help them. Okay, I also had Papa Legba show up in my part 1 reading. Papa Legba is the Orisha of the crossroads. One of my subscribers was putting it very well in my comments. You know, Papa Legba is the road opener. He is the journey to a new world, to a new opportunity, to new possibilities. I mean, I'm not saying at that time that America was a new journey, a new good open possibility. Of course it wasn't. It was slavery. But, you know, from my experience and from other people and having conversations and the way Africa is today, a lot of Americans, especially African Americans, I can literally say some of y'all are doing better than a lot of the people that's in Africa right now. And so that's the energy that I got from Papa Legba. Okay. It was also coming through with the energy of like how God didn't like the way that the African ancestors was treating the women ancestors, for trying to connect and get closer to them and having more wisdom and having strong leadership. It was envy, it was jealousy. They thought it was weird. They started destroying. Okay, I seen that energy as well. Even Martin Luther King and Nat Turner came through saying things. Now this time in part 2, I'm going to pull the energy of Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, and Robert Smalls. And the Robert Smalls, he came through in my vision when I pulled my African American, because I got African American cards. He came through in my vision, you know, wanting to put a message out there for black people. I'm going to call on Harriet Tubman for a message for the black women, and I'm going to call on Nat Turner just to see what he has to say, because he came through in my reading last time. I'm still going to do a separate reading on Nat Turner, but still we're going to pull his energy. Okay, so without further ado, y'all, I got tea, so let me sip. Let me get started. Now, I had to actually sit down and watch my African American Slaves Part 1. I had to sit back and watch the reading so I can remember, because I uploaded that like a month or 2 ago. Okay? So I'm going to start with the questions that I wrote first. I got maybe about 7 or 8 questions down. I'm kind of hoping I don't do this for an hour, but it may be a little over an hour. So just grab your snacks, grab your popcorn, and learn this history if you're interested. We talked about in the last reading was the African people, which were the ancient Egyptians, enslaving the Jewish people, had anything to do with the wheel of karma reversing back and it being the opposite way? No, because honestly, Jewish people really didn't have slaves anyway. It was the white Anglo-Saxon, it was Germans, it was Sweden, it was British, it was all the other races, but not so. I'm pretty sure it probably was some Jewish people, but it was most likely not. Okay, so that really didn't have anything to do with it. Okay. Martin Luther King came through and said he didn't like how a lot of men were lazy. God came through and said a lot of black men give him the energy. Y'all like work with the energy of the devil, and how y'all are abandoning and breaking hearts and not working on your heart chakra. Archangel Raphael was being called on for a lot of black men to work with. Let me get into this new reading, because if you guys, I'm gonna have to put the link for part 1 in the description box in this video. If you guys want to see part 1, because I can't keep talking about it because I'm already at 10 minutes, okay? All right, so let me get a breather. Excuse me, I hope y'all didn't hear me do that small burp. All right. The African American Slaves Part 2. My first question was Ogun. Okay. And the reason why I'm saying that again is because it came up in the reading last time. And I just want to know what the energy was, how Ogun energy was towards this energy of the our African ancestors over from 500 to 300 years ago. What was his energy towards them, and what was his feelings and his thoughts towards them? You know, even though I'm asking Ogun, I feel like Yemaha is stepping out as well. Okay, you see how this chicken is right here next to his foot. Ogun, hold on, give me a second. Oh, a lot of water energy. I feel like Ogun was spiritually trying to warn. It comes out again, I think. I can't remember everything I said in the last reading. I feel like Ogun was spiritually trying to warn, like, black men, like, cleanse your energy, get yourself right, work on your communication, have a better connection with your spouse, with each other, show real love, don't be different. Okay, you guys, like, the ancient ancestors were coming off as outcasting their own. That's what I heard, outcasting their own. Okay, he was trying to work with y'all and help y'all heal from the energy, but it looked like y'all wasn't listening. I get the 8 of Cups here, so I just see Ogun's energy in a lot of sadness, a lot of sadness. Let me pull some of these. Also see through this energy that Ogun, you know, even though this is about the African American, why is my finger itching like that? Even though this is about the African American slavery, hold on, y'all, hold on. 1 second, y'all. Archangel Michael, please show my energy. Please guard me from anything dark or negative trying to come towards me. That please protect and guide my throat chakra so I can be able to read. Archangel Michael, shield me. Archangel Michael, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and the sneers of the devil. May God rebuke him. We humbly pray. And do die, O Prince of the heavenly hosts, by the power of God. Thrust into hell Satan and all the other evil spirits who prowl about the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. So I definitely felt the energy to call on Archangel Michael before I kept going, okay? So now I keep going. The energy does show Ogun always being the outcast when he was. Before he ascended. Because he is ascended. An ascended master, actually. It shows that he was kind of like always an outcast to himself. Always healing, always out in the water, always fishing. It's just talking about his life a little bit. Scaring off the predators. I feel like other people tried to come to their land in ancient African times and like colonize or take it over, and they used to be able to run them off. But then our ancestors came through and started trying to want to trade and stuff. All right, Ogun, what's your energy towards our ancestors? He feel like a lot of our ancient ancestors, black men, Y'all weren't using y'all brains. Y'all weren't thinking. Y'all weren't open-minded. I see this energy. I feel like I don't feel like I'm repeating myself yet, but I'm gonna just say what I see. Y'all weren't open-minded. Y'all didn't listen to other people's opinion. Y'all didn't want to hear what other people said. Y'all were blind to what was going on around y'all, what needed to be fixed, what needed to be done, and what could be healed and what cannot be healed. Let me keep going. You know, it's more like it takes me back to cleansing your energy, gaining strength, praying and working with the water. Baptism, I just heard that. The Hierophants in reverse, not getting a lot of mental clarity and understanding of what's going on around you and what could be done. No leadership skills. No teaching the people how to be clean, how to be how to cleanse themselves, how to be right, how to not be outcast, how to not be sad, how to not stress. It's a lot of anxiety and darkness sent. And I do see Ogun weeping because I feel like this is him reaping and watching the crows go and spiritually make, our ancestors' life difficult. I also see Ogun like praying and asking God to try to have mercy on black people, even though they were messing up. I even see him a little disappointed, but just like having mercy. I also see an energy of the way the young women were being treated, not just like the older women, but the younger women. And then I get the justice in reverse, so things not happening fairly. Okay, give me some more Ogun's energy towards our ancient ancestors and them being taken off into slavery. Oh, wow. Okay. Alright, the first thing I get is the Four of Swords in reverse. So this just talks about Ogun feeling like, okay, we're not hitting anymore. Like, I feel like this is deja vu. There was a time where, the African people were hidden. They weren't bothered. Nobody didn't know. We were doing our thing. And yes, he is acknowledging that resources, even though we were isolated and we wasn't bothered and we were doing our own thing, I do see that money was hard. Like, sorry, y'all, I had to pause and stop. When I get to talk too much, I gotta stop and breathe, okay? Plus, this energy is heavy, so I have to stop and breathe. But there is an energy of money. Us not having financial resources like we should. So you know how they were doing the trade for rum, tobacco and gold and gunpowder and all that stuff that they were trading for, tea and all that. Well, I don't know if it was tea exactly yet. That's the Tea Party, but I do see Africa not having financial resources. So even though we were isolated and we were doing our own thing, it was very, very poor. It was like whoever was the king or whoever was in charge of the kingdom, they were in charge of mud. It was just a kingdom of mud. There were no food. It was no food. It was hunger. It was like we didn't have nothing to trade with. So it was starvation, diseases, everybody dying, no water, everybody having thirst, and so I do see the ancestors, the ancient African ancestor men saying something has to be done. I do see, and I feel like Ogun is also acknowledging that a lot of the black men had lost faith in God. They didn't believe, they stopped believing in God first off. They probably never actually did believe in him in the first place. Not at least since the ancient 12 tribes went that way. Because, you know, the 12 tribes, they separated. 10 of them is lost right now. 10 of them can't be found. It's only 2 of the tribes is out there in Israel right now. Which they out there fighting against Palestine. That's another Bible prophecy. If people don't believe in the Bible, I think you guys should really go back and read it and try to understand it. Ask God to help you, give you wisdom, because things that was said in that Bible is like literally happening right now as we speak. Right now, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it's happening, especially right now. It's happening right now. And that's a perfect example, Israel and Palestine right now. That's a perfect example, okay? But it's just showing that the African man gave up on God. Ogun is putting that out there. They didn't have clarity no more on what to do, how to survive, and so they gave up on God. They were thirsty. It's kind of giving me the mind of the Israelites after they got out of slavery from Egypt, and then they got free, and then they started doing all this complaining, being ungrateful. I mean, the only difference I see real quick is that the African people, they didn't complain. They weren't ungrateful. They just started doing their own thing, which was being crooked, robbing, you know, taking advantage, doing things on a different perspective. Well, let's abuse. Let's put prisoners of war. Let's show our asses in so many ways is what he's saying, okay? Let's get another message from Okun. And then I'm going to get a message from Papa Legba. Why does this keep coming out? Cleansing, purification. Y'all seen the cards I pulled out earlier. It's here right now. Cleansing, purification. It came out earlier with the water. Ogun said people wasn't cleansing their auras. They wasn't cleansing the energy. They wasn't feeling the high vibration of life, of water. A lot of low vibrational energy. Cleansing. A lot of people needed cleansing. And because of the resources being gone, the hunger coming through, them being isolated in a sense and not knowing how to trade, because I feel like in ancient times, Ogun in them times, I do feel like white people tried to come and start some stuff then, but then Shango, Ogun and them ran them off. Also see Shango and Ogun and them connected to God though. The Orishas, they were connected to God. A lot of them are ascended masters. People probably not gonna believe me when I say this shit. It's all good. So I see our ancient African male ancestors wanted to explore. You know how you were in a territory, I mean, you know how you somewhere, it's isolated, it's nowhere else to go, but you want to journey off and see what else is out there, see what's different. Maybe I could go find some food here, maybe I could go find some shoes here, maybe I could just find something different. And so they started going off in unknown territory, meeting up with certain people, traveling outside of certain people, and connecting and talking to different people. And what they didn't know is that it was dangerous. When Ogun is saying all you had to do was cleanse your aura, have faith, listen to God, and he would have guided you on how to get your country back where it needed to be. All you need to do was talk to God, cleanse your energy, shout out to the heavens. Nobody gonna believe me when I say this shit. I don't know why I keep saying that, but y'all might believe me, but I'm just saying. They were supposed to do that. Instead, they wanted to choose their own path. They wanted to be like the white man. Have boats and travel into this country, that country. You know, the stuff that they were doing, like Christopher Columbus and stuff, and Francis Drake, and all those explorers who explored different territories and learning different things. They wanted to be in that energy. That's what Ogun is saying. And they didn't have solitude. So I do see Ogun just sitting back, watching, and being emotionally sad because he knows where this is going to go. He knows where it's going to head. He knows where it's heading. Put it like that. All right, Ogun. Pull a little bit more cards from you. All right. Ocean keeps coming out. Okay, it's something with Ogun in the ocean. Yep. Y'all was supposed to connect with nature and adapt. You know, try to find a different way to adapt instead of going out into unknown territories looking to be something that probably wasn't meant to be you. Okay, I'm not saying that African men weren't meant to be like Christopher Columbus and sail and explore the world or nothing like that. I'm not saying that y'all wasn't meant to do that. I mean, look, if you feel like you can, you can. But the energy is saying that it was just at this time y'all was supposed to do something different. And I think it's not so much the issue with trying to sell the world and trade and be different or try to be like how the white guys were back then. I think it's more like the crooked way you went about it. Remember in my part 1, I said that they were trying to trade something other than sugar, rum, and tobacco. And then it came out that they were trying to trade their black women for some white women, you know. And that's not really what the white men came for at first. They came to trade other things. Like maybe because black people had palm oil. Certain oils that they couldn't get to. You know what I mean? Black African people have certain fruits and just certain things that's in that country that they wanted to trade for. But instead, y'all were trying to be sneaky and trade with women and be like, because y'all didn't like the way y'all women were. Some of y'all didn't like the way y'all women looked. When they look just like you. I don't get that one. Anyway. Ogun is just saying y'all never had faith, meditated, listened to nature and the earth tell you how to do this. Instead, you became hard and cold. You didn't adapt. Maybe there was a different way you could have had adapt to survive. I know that it was no food and you were hungry and all that, but Ogun is saying there was a different way to adapt and survive this. Not the way that y'all did it. And so y'all just became cold, hard, and stone, and like damn. Like dang. Alright. I'm going to pull a couple of more cards and then I'm going to jump on Papa Legba and then I'm going to get into my other questions. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Oh my God. Okay. This is Ogun speak. This is Ogun. This is what he was saying the issue was with our ancestors from 500 years ago. I'm going to say 500 because slavery started about 1600. Now we in 2023. So I'm going to say 500 because it's about 430 years, you know, ago. So I'm going to just say between 300, but 500 years ago. He was saying this is the black man problem. Okay? You went off and you traveled in distant shores. You went off. You chose the path to go off and try to do your own thing, right? That's what it's saying. You chose distant thunder, you went off into unknown territory. That's what, not Shango. Shango, you coming up too, don't worry. That's what Ogun is saying, okay? Ogun and Shango have some type of rivalry. I could feel it energetically, to be honest. I feel it right now. It's some type of rivalry between them, because I'm speaking on Ogun. I'm hearing Shango talk about, well, da-da-da-da. You coming, Shango. It's some type of rivalry between them. You know, I feel like people already kind of noticed, because I'm hearing the energy like, oh dang, that's our business. Like, she putting our business out there, but I feel like people already know that about the Orishas, about you guys. I feel energy, y'all. I feel, you know. But anyway, like Ogun was saying, you know what? I've never really worked with Ogun before. I'm gonna start working with Ogun. Like, ooh, she ain't gonna be jealous. I'm gonna start working with Ogun a little bit, because I really like his energy. It's very affectionate. It's very emotional. It's not feminine. It's very masculine. Very, very masculine. But it's masculine with, I don't know how to, like, I can feel it, but I don't know how to describe it. It's masculine with a gentle flow, if that makes sense. Like, I'm masculine. I get out here, I work these hands, but I'm a teddy bear. Something like that. So I like Ogun's energy. He may be a water sign. And I just seen green, so he may be the money, but that is the iron and stuff. Oh my God, y'all are taking me way off, Shango and Ogun. Okay, y'all taking me off. Okay, let me get into the reading. Someone is trying to, like, okay, Ogun is saying that they wanted to travel off and go off into unknown territory, right? And they thought that they were exactly where they needed to be, and choosing a different path is possible. And I actually get it a little bit, because but that's my modern way of getting it. The ancient way is, well, I'm not gonna say ancient, but 500 years ago is different from the modern way, okay? Because I'm just being modern, okay? There's no food, there's no resources, I can't find a job here. That's just how we are today. There's no food, there's no jobs, there's no money. Let me move to another state where there is food, jobs, and money. This is kind of like what our ancestors were thinking, the men. And some of them left their families off, wondering where they were at. That's very clear. So they did this shit 500 years ago, like they're doing today. Wow. And when they went off and started, because I feel like a couple of them went into a different country, found some white man, talked about trading, and then they started coming back and forth trading. I feel like that's when they thought that they were getting a deal, but they were getting fake offers. And then I also see black men trying to go, our ancient ancestors, they don't like me, I'm not gonna lie. The ancient African man, I'm not gonna say ancient, I'm sorry, I take that back. Our ancestors from 500 years ago, the African ones, they don't like me. I was talking to this African guy, he was a doctor. I was talking to him, and we was kicking it, hanging out, sweet guy. Soon as I stepped over in his house, soon as I went to his house, I already felt he had male African ancestors who were by him. I already felt they didn't like me. Like, we don't like this one. We don't like her. She's American. She's brainwashed. She sassy. She got lip. I heard them. She's gonna be like, gimme, gimme, gimme. And it's not that I'm like, gimme, gimme, gimme. I'm just not about to be with no guy that's not a financial provider. And that is the problem with our African ancestors, the men. They're even like this now in spirit. That's why I just asked Archangel Michael to protect me. They have this negative attitude right now in spirit. Right now. That's why they're kind of earthbound, to be honest. So it's always good to constantly keep your energy cleansed. Constantly connect with God. Constantly read Psalms 91. Your enemies will walk by you. They'll be able to walk by you. And you will see them walk by you. But they cannot touch you. Okay? Anyway. So I feel like the African men were trying to go off offering fake offers to the white man. Offering them fake offers. Like, well, we have this and we have that. We come to our land. We have that. Come to our land. We have this. When the truth was, at the time, where's the card at? There was nothing. There was nothing. No food, no resources. Where's that other card at? No food, no resources, nothing. Nothing was there. When all right, Shango, Ogun, because they going. When Ogun was saying, oh, Shango was a little jelly. When Ogun was saying, it's a way to adapt, y'all. We can make something happen. We have to adapt. We have to get out there and plant. We have to grow. We have to farm. We have to work hard and make it happen. Instead, they want to trade and get in the mix with the other white men or other nationalities. So they started going off, traveling different places, lying. Because the energy comes through that, and look, I might get some dislikes, I don't give a shit. That black men were envious of the white man and how they could trade and how they traveled here and discovered this and discovered that. I know it's true because I'll be reading in my history books about, Galileo, which that's kind of ancient, but Aristotle and Darwin and all the ancient, Christopher Columbus, I read it. So I feel like a lot of black men were jealous of this because they weren't able to do it. It wasn't happening for them. And what happened is they were trying to, it was just envious. They were envious of how the white man could do this and how they could control that and how they traveled and how they had territories and their women look nice, and that's the energy I see, y'all. And so they went off trying to offer fake offers, and when the white man came back with them and seen that this land was like desert, isolated, no growth, no farming, no food, nothing, they thought that y'all were savages instead. And I'm looking at the cards, but I'm actually getting clear. I'm getting visions. They thought that y'all were savages instead because y'all land and stuff did not look. It didn't look. Y'all just were being lazy. Y'all wasn't planning. Y'all wasn't growing. Y'all wasn't working together. Y'all wasn't trying to make something happen. And they came and thought that y'all were just savages instead because they got here. They seen that y'all didn't have that. Y'all didn't have no structure. Y'all didn't have no fields. Y'all wasn't growing. Y'all wasn't tending. And so that's how that went down. So then they started making you fake offers. Like, okay, well, we could give y'all this and this. We could give y'all some of our women. We can come, and they did. Not giving them women, but they was trading with them. We could give y'all some of our rum. We could give y'all some of our tobacco. We could give y'all some of our sugar. And yeah, we'll take some of your women. And they started off doing that, taking their women, even some of their kids. There were even African kings who were trading their mothers. An African king just giving up his mother. I know God was pissed. All right, Ogun, we got your message. That was like 38 minutes just talking to Ogun. What's going on? Be careful, because I do not want be careful what you turn on. I do not want it cutting off because I'm in the middle of the video. The electric been cutting off and acting stupid, and I know this is going to be a long video. Y'all excuse me, I'm talking to my son real quick. And so, be careful. Yeah, go ahead. Alright, y'all, so I'm going to talk about, who's next? Papa Legba Shango. Papa Legba Shango, I kind of got you at, last, okay? Not last, but Shango, you coming, okay? You coming. You coming. Because Shango was like, I don't know what it is about Ogun. Maybe y'all was going at it. I don't know. I would say I would read into it, but I really don't. To me, it's kind of a little petty for me to do that, in my opinion. because they're both strong leaders to me, strong African leaders, and I feel like that'll be messy. But it is some type of rivalry there. I feel it. It's some type of rivalry with them. All right. All right, Papa Legba. In my part 1, you showed up. Part 1, African American slaves from 1750 to 1865. You showed up too. And I know you're the Orisha of the crossroads. Of new territory. Whether it's good or bad. You're also a trickster Orisha. Everybody has it. I mean, in the Norse, there's Loki. I forgot the one in the Egyptian. Alright. Papa Legba. Let me see. Let me look at my question. What's Papa Legba energy around the black man and the slavery and what was going on around that time? What's his name? He was I know it, John Brown. I'm actually getting like a vision of him trying to come through. I just kind of don't understand why. I knew what he did. He led the revolt and he said that slavery, the only way slavery was going to end in blood, and he did this like in 1859, like 5 years before the Civil War. So I do know his story. I'm just kind of trying to figure out why is he trying to come through now. Honestly. Hope that don't sound rude. All right, Papa Leg, but this is definitely issue. That's definitely that's another word for Papa Legba, to be honest. Eight of Arrow talks about trap. This is Eight of Swords. This talks about being trapped. I was gonna put it back, but Spirit said take it out. I was just about to put it back. Okay. Let's see. This is Five of Swords. Ooh. Wow. See how the snake is right next to the tree and the rainbow? That's crazy. All right. Six of Swords. This is the water spirits. Trapment. Eight of Earth. Let me see. I have to turn around and look at it upright, y'all, so I can see it clearly. All right. What I'm getting out of this is, the first thing I see when I picked up that Eight of Earth is as much blood and sweat and tears that y'all put into building America. It's like the money that was put into building it really didn't do any favors for it. You know, even though that's weird to me because there's a lot of white people who is still rich right now from slavery, their ancestors at least. But it's showing that even with a bunch of slaves, it still took a lot more strength, a lot more working and courage and stuff like that to even get the soil and it running. But eventually it did. Okay. The first thing I see is that Papa Legba was trying to warn a lot of black men about the betrayal that's coming ahead of them. You know, when you are... Okay, Papa Legba, go ahead, preach. Okay. I got quiet, y'all, because I'm getting a vision in my head. Okay, so what he's saying is like when you are when you're arrogant, your ego's in the way. When you are hungry, and you're not focused, you're not cleansed like Ogun was trying to say earlier, when you're not cleansed, then you're not thinking clear. You're not thinking clear, your intuition's not popping up. You're not of light, okay? So you don't feel and see the warnings coming, because back in like 500 years ago, it was easier. It was way more easier to understand, listen to, possibly even see the Orishas, because there was no internet, no TV, no interruptions, like no crazy food, none of all that stuff in our food. So back then there was not as much distractions, okay? So it was easier to listen to the nature, listen to the wind, hear the ancestors speak. It was easier. It was easier. Even with that being easier for them, they still didn't listen. They still didn't listen, because with this, I see Papa Legba trying to warn them. You're not listening. You're going to work your ass off and you will not get profit. You will get tricked and lied to. Your education will be stripped from you. They will try to, I think it's what they did with the Bible. They will try to twist things. They will try to brainwash you. They will take your religion. They will take us away. And they didn't listen. He was trying to block the road. Thank you, Papa Leg. He was trying to block the roads. Okay, this is why the Six of Swords is in reverse. He was trying to spiritually block the roads. I guess that's why I became isolated. There was no food, no growth, none of that. Not to mention they wasn't trying to get out there and make it happen. But I see Papa Legba trying to make it more isolated, and it wasn't working. And I say it wasn't working because earlier with my Ogun, when I was just reading on Ogun, they went out and traveled anyway. They went outside and traveled anyway because they wanted to be like the white guys. All right, let's get some more energies. What I just say? Papa Legba was saying the same thing. Y'all wasn't using y'all brains. Y'all wasn't thinking clearly. Y'all wasn't being strategic. You wasn't thinking for yourself. You wasn't thinking like how to get my own prosperity going. You wasn't satisfied. You just had to be like them instead of being like your own self. I'm hearing Papa Legba like, how do you think we were able to manage it and make it happen? I just hear Papa Leg was saying all the energy and work we put into Africa, into making it a better country. And yes, sometimes there's famines. Sometimes there's, like, we fall. But we have faith. And we depend on God. And we make it happen. I really feel like the Orishas were closer to God than our ancestors. Our ancient ancestors, the Orishas, were closer to God than our ancestors were. Because I'm not going to say we, because I am. But then they were. It's like they forgotten and lost the way. The Orishas treated their women with respect. The ones who were powerful too. The oracles. Tower moment. Destruction. Destruction of your body. Destruction of your hard work. Destruction of everything you built. Destruction of your homes, destructions of your because believe it or not, there were a couple of African dudes who were there for their families who did try, but it was like what, 5% out of 100. That's literally what I'm hearing. Look, y'all felt for Papa Legba is saying that y'all felt for the trick. Y'all felt. Well, the truth is that a lot of black men went over to other countries, meeting up with other white men and lying, saying that they had plenty, they had they had a farm, they had fruits and food and all kind of stuff to trade, and they didn't. And then they went over there saying, well, we have all this if you could trade with us food and gunpowder and y'all women, and y'all didn't. So it's like, okay, black man, y'all lied too. Y'all lied. It's looking like y'all went over there and tried to lie and be manipulative, because deep down inside y'all were jealous and y'all were envious of how the white man was doing things back then. And we already talked about that, traveling, selling from sea to sea, discovering, and all that other type of stuff, right? Discovering, like getting telescopes, looking at the sky, discovering the earth, trying to figure out if it's round or if it's flat, stuff like that. And so y'all went with fake offers. This is the devil, black man, and it flipped on you. It flipped. It just keeps coming out. Even Papa Legba saying it. A lot of you guys didn't have faith. Y'all lost hope. Y'all didn't try. Y'all need a cleanse. Y'all were dark. And then I see y'all being trapped and stuck in. I don't know if I should call it a fair trade. I really don't think, because the justice is here, and the justice is here in the upright. So I don't know. I don't want to say it served them right, but that's what the cards is looking like. Okay, that's what the cards is looking like. All right, Papa Legman, let's see any other messages you got. Y'all let the devil, y'all let the snake get to y'all and trick y'all. Well, y'all actually tried to go trick it, and it backfired. All right, Papa Legba. Cleansing. So Papa Legba energy is like, okay, since y'all want to go out there and travel and do it, I'm just going to open the road. I'm going to open the road and open the gates so y'all can get what you desire. Men, y'all want to go out looking for something, even if it's unknown territory, I'm going to give it to y'all. I'm going to give it to you. But before they take you, I'm going to teach the women to work on their spiritual gifts, work on their magic, to heal through these tough times, to understand what a cleanse is. So even if you're in this different new territory, you're still going to cleanse your energy and try to be of light. I'm going to make sure that you guys, that all the African people reach their destination on that boat. I'm going to make sure you reach it. And then you're going to reflect and wonder what the heck is going on. Give me. Papa Legba was saying they thought that they were going to uncover some big, deep money, like more money, more resources. It don't have to always mean like money like that, but more resources and more things. But they went and found another. See, the moon tried to come out before. But they went and got deceived. It was something else. And y'all were tricked too. I feel energetically the white man said, come with us. We have a lot of stuff to show you guys. Y'all can have your own land. I think that's how some of the black people got there in the 1600s before they did the slavery. Come with us. We got a lot of land for you. You know, maybe, I mean, because your women could come, like, you could just come and be with us. And we'll trade with your women. And they don't have to be slaves. They could just work with us for like 7 years. We'll make them indentured service. And then after 7 years, we'll let them free. But then when they got to the country, what happened was they said, all right, well, the rules is changing. You don't have to be a slave, but your wife does. and her children does, but you don't have to. But because your wife is a slave and they're her children, and she's my property, her children are too. And so y'all were deceived. And so now y'all here, y'all stuck, y'all can't leave, and y'all children can't leave either. And your children's gonna grow up making us money. And Papa Legba says, since y'all want to go out exploring and trying to discover new territories, let me open this world for y'all that it looks like it may be good, but it's not. Y'all gonna find out the secret. Y'all think y'all going to a secret y'all think y'all going to a secret path of righteousness, but no. You're going somewhere where you can't get out of. Your children can't get out of either. Your children are going to grow up making money for them. Your children will be exhausted. It's sad. It's sad. All right, Papa Legba, I'm going to pull 3 more messages, and then I'm going to get into the other questions. We are already an hour. What are you waiting on? Well, what you waiting on? Did you turn it on? Why? I'm not going to be done for a while. So you could be standing there. I'm not going to be done for a while. It really keeps coming out. It makes me want to ask. It makes me want to ask. I'm going to ask this real quick after I do Papa Legba. It keeps coming out that black men were really jealous of white men back then and how they were doing things around the world. And that they were trying to be friends with them, to try to learn from them, to try to be like them, to try to travel around the world. What they didn't realize is that the world was darkness, worldly, wicked, dark energy. It came on to them, which they were already having dark energy, but they went out and got darker energy to them. It's like y'all were dark energy. Y'all went out thinking y'all could find something better, and y'all brought back the devil himself. Which was how the white men were. I'm going to ask this. I have to ask this because it keeps coming out that black men were envious and jealous of the way white men were traveling, selling, discovering cities, countries, and all that jazz. So I got to ask really quick. Brings me to ask. I might stop this video and do another video for the other part because I don't want these readings to be more than an hour. You know how you're thinking about something else and then somebody or some person literally comes to your mind and you're trying to do something else? That's how you know that person's thinking about you, at least if you're spiritual like me. That's how I know that somebody's thinking about me. My mind could be totally somewhere else, focused on somewhere else, and that person just pops up in my thoughts. They're thinking about me. They're thinking about you too if you go through that same thing. All right. This is just a quick side question before I get in. How did black men feel against white men 500 years ago? How did the African man feel against white men 500 years ago? Look. Let me keep going. They feel like white men were not clean, not pure. They feel like white men weren't clean, they weren't pure. They felt like they had a lot of things, a lot of hidden things. And they were jealous of the women. It keeps coming out with the women. How did black men feel towards white men? It was something about their women. They thought their women were gorgeous. They thought they women were gorgeous. They thought that white men never stayed hidden. They felt like they had secret treasures that they were hiding somewhere. You know, back then, you know, money, gold is money. So secret treasures. Get a little more cards on that. Let me see. How else did black men feel towards white man? Some with their women, wanting their women, like secretly wanting their women. The secret was out. I'm not gonna lie, our black African ancestors, they didn't really hide that secret about them wanting their women. They didn't hide that, and I'm really shocked because growing up, I never really knew that. How do black men feel about white men? I'm not gonna lie. Black men, this was 500 years ago. They wanted what the black men had. They wanted what they had. And they did whatever sneaky they had to do. So I actually see them trying to turn them against each other. I guess trying to start wars with other white countries, with them against each other. I do see that. Well, to be honest, they were sending evil eye to the black man. White man. Black men were sending evil eye to them. They wanted to oppose a negative effect on them, but not specifically because of their family ties. They wanted the wife and the children, but they wanted their emotions. They wanted their happiness. So they were plotting. They were, trying to take what they had. They did feel like white men were, because of their religion, that they weren't cleansed and they weren't pure and that they were disgusting and that they didn't deserve what they had. And that they look like old wizards. That's weird. I just heard that energy. That's what I'm getting. And that their women were gorgeous and that they wanted their women. That's no secret. It keeps coming out. All right. So, I'm not going to end it. I'm going to keep going. All right. Let me get into my next question. The energy around our ancestor men around 1750 to 1865. And then I'm going to ask before. 1600 to 1700, but let me start on right now. What was the energy like around the men during that time between 1750 and 1865? What was the energy like around our ancestor men, the black ancestor men? Even though sometimes I feel weird to claim it, but they are my ancestors. But what's the energy around our ancestor men during that time? Alright, I'm not gonna lie, the energy still comes out that they were thinking around the time, especially between 1750 and 1865, they were thinking that they were making good adjustments. They were thinking that the trade was going to go well. They were thinking that they were going to be able to start building their land again in Africa with different women, not just black women. They wanted a different culture type of women. Okay, they noticed how other countries had different women, like Asian, Indians, just different women. And they seen how in Africa it was only black women, especially in that part that they were at, which I'm thinking West Africa. And so that's the first thing I'm seeing. They're thinking the adjustments was about to happen perfectly. I see that they were also going through the energy like, okay, now we can finally give instead of taking, because I do see the energy that they were taking. and they feel like, okay, now we're trading, now we're able to give something back and take. We're able to do an equal trade. A win-win outcome is coming. Okay, we're going to be able to trade. We're going to be able to keep our land up. We're going to be able to have some of their women. We're going to be able to have some of their food, their tobacco. We're going to be able to live like them, travel like them. That's what they were thinking. That was the energy around the black man between 1750 and 1865. Let's get a couple of more. This reading might be like 2 hours, y'all, so please bear with me and please watch the reading. Look, see? So yeah, the black men were going through a time where they were selfish, holding out. The country was like desolate and desert and pretty bad and full of mud, right? But there were some kings and some people who did have something, and they held it in and didn't share it with anybody. So when they finally started going off traveling to different waters, different seas, and bringing back different cultures and different people back to Africa, they started feeling like, okay, now we're finally going to be adjusted. We're finally going to be like those other countries. We're finally going to build. We're finally going to be able to build and have this and trade and, sort of like the king of England, the queen of England. I don't know if it was a king or queen at that time, but sort of like them, where they could make a demand and then they could have a boat sent to go do this and get that and be equal with all the other nationalities. That's what they were finally thinking. But then they were finally thinking, okay, we don't have to be overwhelmed no more. It's about to be even. It's about to be an equal trade. It's going to be fair justice. It's going to be a shift in women and love. You see how this woman is here, given and taken, like equally. And then you see the planet Venus right here, because if you guys don't know, the planet Venus, it is like a glowy pinkish color. It is like a love looking like color. It's glowy. And so they were thinking, the hard times is over. Now it's time for peace, love, joy, happiness. And we don't have to deal with just our women and the weirdness. We can deal with all cultures of women. First we'll get the white, then we'll go to the Indians, then we'll go to the Asians. Look. All right. Give me the energy around the man from 1750 to 1865. Working, not happy, emotions all over the place, not emotionally fulfilled, not being able to have the say, not being able to be in charge. And look, see how that King of Cups is in reverse? Now you're not a king no more. Now you have to get out in the fields and work all day. And look, the Seven of Pentacles is like you working, but you working hard. You ain't bringing that much. It's like it's slow. It's slow progress. It's slow. You got it, but it's slow progress. And so it didn't get him anywhere, but working for them now. Being unhappy. Now you're not a king no more. Now you're not emotionally fulfilled, and you don't got the women. Actually, I'm going to leave that out. Zion, come unplug the microwave, please. Thank you. All right. Let me pull some more cards. The injury around a man from 1750 to 17. 1750 to 1865. Traveling through mountains and sea, from sea to shining sea, from mountains to deserts, different climates. I'm surprised the boat ain't here, but traveling on the boat, seeing different parts of the world, even seeing parts where, and then it seems like once they got in that boat and they was traveling off, they started like really seeing the world for what it was. You got to get that world vision like you want. Now the energy is coming like, okay, you probably wish you was back isolated now, right? Okay. Well, that's the energy I'm seeing so far. Being able to see different parts of the world now. Being able to see how other cultures get down. I'm also seeing the energy of the men finally understanding the spiritual practices of the women. And believe it or not, women, I actually see a lot of the African women ancestors doing spiritual work and doing spiritual practices to help protect and keep their men safe from being taken. See, black women, they were trying to trade us for different women and we were still trying to help. So I see that they were kind of in the energy of worried about being like stuck and in their same position being in Africa, but then you got taken and traded and now you have to go and work somebody else's soil and it's not growing as fast as you would like. So basically extra slave hard labor, and now it's starting to get to the point where you are having a temper. It's starting to get to the point where you are getting angry. You're getting provoked. Now you're starting to your anger is starting to show. And with this Temperance in reverse, you're angry, you're getting tempered, you're getting tested, you're getting challenged, and this Temperance in reverse is showing that it's nothing really that you're doing about it, but just sitting there and being angry. 5 of Cups, depression. Can't be with your... Now y'all worried about y'all women and y'all families. It seems like once the change... Look at this. Man, woman. Now that the change is on you, now they start worrying about their families. And now that they're in a bunch of fire, now they're worried about their families. So now it's like, okay, depression, my soul's on fire, depression, now I got to deal with all these challenges. Now I'm angry and I can't do anything about it. Now everything is stripped and taken from me. Now the earth is looking horrible to me. Now I'm traveling all over it. Now I'm dealing with sneaky people. Now I'm trapped. Now the world isn't looking... Now the world is looking shifty. It's looking mean. It's looking cold. Now I gotta watch our women be dogged out and treated and abused and raped. Why the earth? Ooh. Wow. That is... Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. God, I got stuff everywhere. Jeez. Hold on, because message from the earth and dwarves and grooms came out at the same time. This man came out here twice. Man, y'all. Man. Hold on. One second, y'all, because I want to get this right. I never got that like that before. actually creeping me out a little bit. And yes, me, even the reader, I didn't get confused. I'm kind of creeped out. So I'm looking at something real quick. Because whatever this is creepy. I could tell. It's creepy. All right. A minute being of the surface and depths of the earth, surrounded by riches, provided by its own environment. A goblin, a gome, representing the earth, elemental. He resembles the type of image where we have them. His angular features, prudent eyes, empathize his intelligence. His long white beard sparks his years rude and betrays his age. He is hiding a coin for these beings of the custodians and faithful guardians of the biggest treasures. They help everything connected with wealth, material welfare, protecting cattle, pests, diseases, increasing fertility, the land. Okay. I'm going to stop there. I had a feeling. Because the earth is ancient, these elements represent very old traditional wise people. If you're a man, you will be wealthy with a resolute, stable spirit, very earthly characteristics. You will be financially successful. You have important contacts. If you will be sinning. You will not stand for being disappointed from anybody. You will not accept deceit or lies, or you will not be a part of somebody else who's in it. Yeah. Whoa. All right, I knew it. It creeped me out. I knew it. All right, so look. I know I'm gonna pull 2 other cards with it too. I had to because I'm like, what? I never got that at once. All right. Let me pull cards. Let me get a card next to the message from Earth, and then the dwarfs and grooms. I knew it. And then look, 2-2. Okay, so look, I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. This is the white man finally saying, you're going to sit down. This is the white man taking over the black man. You see how this is, and I'm a card reader, okay? This is light, this is like darkness. So it's like, I'm not saying black man or dark. I'm just going by how these cards look, and then look at the back of this. You're going to shut up. You're going to do, this is the white man. You're going to shut up. You're going to do what I say. You're going to collect treasures for me. You're going to get the money. I'm going to hold all the money. I know your place. You are going to listen to your place. You're going to build, and you're going to make the earth right for me. Okay? This is the man. This is the black man doing all the work. After all the work is done, all he does is sit here and look at the stars, and there's nothing around him. Now you and your family is coming to an earth of destruction. You won't be able to yield. You have to wait on me to eat everything that y'all see that happened and that's going on in slavery today. They can't think. They can't think for themselves. If they try to read or think, we're going to get them. We're coming. Make them unbalanced. They have to balance. All they need to worry about is balancing our earth and keeping the soil great. Bringing balance to the earth, the nature. You see how this is the waters, the winds, the boat, the earth, growing the land, putting farming into the land, putting riches, and putting your investment into the land. That's what this is talking about. Now I'm in control of you. This man's in control of that man. I have taken your mind. I have taken your woman. I have taken you from your earth, your land. Now I have you sitting here with nothing. All right. Is there anything else I need to pull? Oh, yes. The energy around our African men and sisters from 1750 to 1865. In the flow. Now, Spirit just said this is what they're hoping for. In the flow. So what a lot of men did, black men did, was adjust themselves to being in the flow of things. Just getting comfortable and getting used to the ride, okay? And then they were also told to accept and understand that you're coming to something that's better, that looks better, that's civilized, that's not desolate and dry and desert looking, okay? Yeah, you're going to work, but you're going to eat, okay? I feel like when some of the black men first got to America, they thought, and before so, they thought that now, and I said this earlier, they thought that miracles was finally going to start happening and things were going to be different. They thought that they were going to be joyful and happy. When the truth was, you would needed to surrender to the boat ride, to the trip, and release trying to control of what you think is going to be. All right, give me some more energy of the black man's energy around this time. If you guys have any more questions, let me know. I will do a part 3. I will. But when I do a part 3, it's going to be from 1865 till 2023. So if you have any questions, please put it in the comments. Serious questions only. And please be serious, because there be people emailing me playing games. One person, I'm not going to say no names, you left me a comment saying I have, like, this reading, it poses a lot of questions. And I said, yes, please, ask questions. I need you to. And I never got a question. Girl. And you still leave comments on all the other videos. So I think some people just care more about celebrities than, like, real shit. And that's okay. That's okay. Alright, so black man energy around that time. What was their energy? What was going on through their head around that time? They thought that they were going to actually still work and make actually some change and do the trade and everything. When the truth was, they wasn't thinking clearly and they wasn't thinking smartly. They wasn't thinking smart. Oh my God, where I get smartly from? And then they didn't have no choice but to stop holding back mentally. Stop holding back emotionally. Stop holding back your pennies. They didn't have no choice. Now it's time to, and then they had the nerve, the black man, then they had the nerve to try to guard themselves. To try to get into a whole nother territory and want to fight and put their foot down and try to guard something. But as you can see, it's blocked because look, this is not your territory. It's flat. It's empty. You have nothing but those sticks there and that armor that you got to put down, and you still bruised in the head. You know, like, it's sad. It's sad. So then they came out of their country, which was Africa, and they had to come out in different territories. So now you're not at home. Even though you were isolated, you had your own kingdom. And you had to adapt and make things happen and try to create change for yourself. You didn't. So now you're out of your comfort zone. You're out of your shadow. And guess what? There's no king over the kingdom no more. This is an empty chair with nobody there. So now you can't protect your own kingdom. You can't protect your women. I'm putting it upright so y'all can see what I'm saying. You can't protect your kingdom. Nobody's there in the chair no more. There's nothing left. You can't protect anything no more. You lost it all. And so now, look, 5 of Cups. Now you're in sadness and grief with this rose behind you. Grieving your country. All you're doing now, he's sitting on the soil of the other country, looking back at the waters, regretting their decisions, thinking that they were trying to be a trickster, and they got tricked. And now there's no hope here, there's no love here, there's no water to drink, there's no cleansings. You can't go to the lake and look at it no more. You can't go and listen to the earth and the wind and try to make something happen for yourself anymore. Now the white man, the devil, has you. And yes, I call white man the devil too, just like black man. You don't have to be a color to be working with the man downstairs. You don't got to be a color. You can be anybody. The devil is a spirit. He ain't a human. So when you got devil energy, it's not about color. What did the ancient women ancestors, what did they think about our ancestors from 500 years ago? What did the ancient women ancestors think of our ancestors from 500 years ago? And y'all know what I mean when I say ancient. I'm talking about over 3,000 years ago, y'all. This is in reverse, so I'm going to keep it like it is, but I'm going to show it in the upright so you guys can see what I mean. You see how this is cosmic power. You see how the woman's there with her man, the moon and the sun. I feel like the man tried to, the women is saying that what the man, this is in reverse too, but I'm still reading it this way. What the women is saying is that, men, we knew, this is what the ancient ancestors are saying to our ancestors. They're saying, look, we knew that you were the sun. You were the leader, you were the man, you were in control. But you forgot about us, the moon, and we were your satellite. You need the sun just like you need the moon. You pushed us behind you and put yourself in front, and now look. Now both of us is down. So now I see when they got to the States, the white man were putting some women in front of the black man. So now the moon is in front of the sun. And when the moon is in front of the sun, it's darkness all day. You need both. And the men in Africa from 500 years ago forgot that you need the sun just as well as the moon. Just like it's daytime, we need a nighttime. Now, because of y'all poor leadership, there's nothing but the moon leading now. And the moon can't be across the country all day, every day for the rest, like for how long was slavery? 200-300 years. Now the moon is in front of the sun for 300 years. And now we don't have nothing to look forward to but darkness now. That's what the ancient ancestor women is saying to the men. And it's crazy how these cards is coming up in reverse because they come in the upright too. Hold on. Radical rebirth. So I do see the people that's left in Africa, especially women that weren't taken, trying to rebuild the country, the ones who wasn't taken. But it was hard to rebuild because now they opened the floodgates and there were constant other nations coming. Not just the Portuguese, not just the British, because, you know, Portuguese took some of them, but it wasn't just the Portuguese. We had the Spanish. I think Portuguese is Spanish. We had the British. We had a lot of them. So now the territory is open, and now we have a radical rebirth. Now it's crazy. Now it's blended in. Now our animals are being taken. Now we don't have our animals to protect us. Now we don't have the land. Y'all opened the floodgates. But I do see some of the women there in some parts. I see some of them understanding the spiritual part. And to be honest, I see some women still trying to work with nature and the spirits to cosmically change things. I'm not seeing it working, though, to be honest. I'm not seeing it working. So that's the energy I get with the black women thinking towards the black men at that time. I've been on that part too long. Now let's talk about the women. Please let me know. I am going to do part 3, but it's going to be from 1865 to 2023, which is today. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I know this video is probably going to be like 2 hours long, but I appreciate you for watching anyway. And hopefully you learned something and understand something. And then I still got the questions from my subscribers to ask. Spirit guide me on this reading. Just guide me. This card to me is so beautiful. Look at all those. This is because when we buy crystals, look at this. This really comes from in the earth, in the mountains, under the water, in the trees. This is really from the earth. That's why I don't understand in the Salem witch trials. They was over here taking the witches, our ancient ancestors too. They was killing the black ones from Africa. They was over there taking our lives for something that was already a part of the earth. Crystals and all that, it's a part of the ground. It's like a colorful rock. But, you know, but people just, a rock is just a rock to people, so they just don't look at the rock like that. But you could say a rock is a crystal too. Because it's part of the earth. And moon cards at? I got cards everywhere, Jesus Christ. Alright, hold on. Let me put some stuff. Alright, there we go, the moon. Alright. Alright. Let's talk about, let's see, my next question. The energy around our ancestor women from 1755 to 1865. Let's get their energy. Yeah, after this, y'all, I gotta do my math homework. And then take me a long bath. Our ancestors. What was the energy around our ancestor women from 1750 to 1865? What I say? What the fuck did I say? I want to say this is Oya, but I don't, I want to be sure. Hold on, I want to be sure, because this is what I don't like about this card, is because it's weird. Alright, Ishu. Oh man, Papa Legba was trying everything in his power to block the roads when it came to the women. Oh man. He was like, forget the men. I mean, yeah. He was like, forget the men, the poor women. So he was trying to, like, block that shit. It was hard. Oh, poor Papa Legba. I see the women not being able to have no control. Like, look at that. And I actually see the women adapt, like, but I see the women having no control. Having, like, no control. Having no control. No control. Eight of Cups. I mean, I feel like, yeah, they tried to stop the boat, but they couldn't. I felt like the women were adapting. This is Africa at the time, even though, look, as you can see, hold on, as you can see, and this is the women, Oshun, weakness, no strength, no charm, no beauty. I'm not saying they were ugly. That's not what it's saying. It's just saying that they wasn't able to defend themselves. It was, the women were weaker in this situation. They didn't really have no say, and to be honest, it looked like they were treated even worse. But the women would have adapted. You see how there's no food on the ground right here? And that's how Africa was. Remember I said earlier that Africa was kind of going through a drought. And instead of people learning how to adapt, the men learning how to adapt, they went out and traveled to see if they could try to be like the white man. The women wasn't thinking like that. I see the women adapting. In the animal kingdom, the reason why the giraffes were able to survive is because they adapted and started eating up eating on top of the tree. And from my understanding, I don't know if that part is true or not, but some giraffes didn't even have long necks, and they reached their neck up and made themselves adapt and eat. And I feel like this is what women were doing. So when there was no food to eat, no crops growing, you know what women were doing? They were eating plants. They were eating, they were adapting and finding things around them to eat, to survive. And I'm seeing a lot of energy of vegan, plant-based foods. And to be honest, this is how they were getting their strength. This is how they were getting clarity. So the women had spiritual clarity on what was to come and what was to happen to them, and how they would be stripped of their beauty, and how they would be stripped of their charm, and how they were great. This is saying all that. They would have adapted, but their men were going out looking for something that wasn't there. Now, let me Yansha. I'm trying to figure out, is this Oya? Because I don't want, you can't get Oya wrong, because she don't play that. Hold on, y'all. Trying to see if that's Oya. I wish I had a different type of deck. Okay. Let me know. Okay, come on. Okay. Okay, it is. Oh, yeah. See, I don't like the way they got her looking. That's why. Alrighty. Yeah, that's Oya. I'm annoyed. That's Oya. Because that's not how Oya looks, so I'm annoyed. Around that time, women were adapting. They even had the power and control. Oya is the Orisha woman who controls. Who has the control, to be honest? That's Shango's first wife. You can't even really get permission to even speak to the other wives or really deal with Shango. None of that. Unless Shango is your spirit guide, there's nothing that can be done about that one. But if he's not, then you can't even reach Shango or the other wives. You have to go through Oya first. That's just how much she had control. And so what I'm seeing from this energy is that a lot of women had a lot of spiritual control. They had a lot of spiritual control. They adapted easy, but they just wasn't treated fairly, okay? They weren't loved. This is the Ace of Cups in reverse in the tarot. They weren't loved by men, okay? Ishu is the man, but I'm not talking about Ishu in general. This is talking about men. Ishu is in reverse, which is Papa Legba too, okay? He got Ishu. He got a couple of names, but Papa Legba. It's like showing that they were dealing with boys. So while women were here being powerful, being energetically strong and charged, spiritually connected, oracally connected, cosmic power, and adapting to what is around them to survive, we have the men out here being immature, not searching qualitatively for boundaries, not out there trying to adapt, out there trying to search for something new, being immature, not showing their women love. All right, let's clarify some stuff. Give me the energy around the women from 1750 to 1865. Women being treated bad. Not having control. Not having to say. Having to bow down. Just pretty bad. Look, see, the women had options. They were adapting. They had options. They made whatever resources that was around them work. Wow. But they weren't happy. They weren't being treated right. They weren't being treated good. They were being disrespected. They were being raped. They were losing their children. They were pushed back from being creative. And then, so they were blocked. And then I also feel like energetically, their men were blocking them from going forward to try to discover new territories. And what I mean by that is to try to grow and form and change and make things happen themselves. So the thing is, okay, the men were being young. They were being immature. They weren't trying to adapt or make things happen in their country. Instead, they were being immature and trying to go out and seek new territories. And that's some of them, because I see some of the other ones being kind of lazy. So I'm seeing that. And I'm seeing them trying to block the women from moving forward. Because some of the women with this Oya energy is saying, well, okay, let's try to form ourselves. Let's try to adapt ourselves. Let's try to be a queen of our kingdom. Let's try to do this right. Let's try to make weapons of war. Let's try to protect and defend ourselves. You see her with this sword, but her being pushed away. See? We don't want you to use your intuition and your in your gifts and your spiritual powers. We don't need your wisdom. We don't want to hear that bullshit. That's what I'm moderating y'all. We don't want to hear that bullshit. Okay, keep that to yourself. Keep your conversations with God from yourself. God came through as a message of fire. Keep those messages that you so-called claim that you got from God to yourself. We don't want to hear that shit. Okay? We don't want to hear about your knowledge. We don't want to hear your Torah. We don't want to hear your stories. We just want to get out there, see what opportunities is out there for us. We want to go out there searching, and we want to go out there discovering. We want women who's not oracles. We want women who sit down, listen to their husbands, and shut up like the white women do. At least that's what they thought. So I see the women kind of losing their patience and starting to get mad and starting to get high-tempered and actually starting to fight some of the men. And I mean like war-like wise, going against each other war-wise. Because of the unbalance, because of the not being treated right, because of them not equally being there for them and sharing with them, sharing the resources, sharing the, like whatever they did have, they kept it to themselves. I just cannot believe, I can't believe, but I'm just so tripping off of how men were to the women. That is some stuff that'll make God take men into slavery. And then the poor women still gotta suffer too. And don't be offended, women, because even in biblical days, God did this. If you watch the story with Jeremiah and him being in the Bible, and when what was that went down when King Nebuchadnezzar came through and took the Israelites, when that went down and Jeremiah asked God about the women, and God said the women are getting destroyed too, because when they have babies, they're just going to birth like future generations who will be worse. So at this point they're being, and so like it be like that sometimes. All right, the energy around the women, look. The energy around the women from 1750 to 1865. I feel like the women tried to hide, be spiritual, connect with God, hide out, not be found. I felt like they were found anyway and taken over in the water to slavery and taken over. Okay? I feel like it was effortless for them. You know, I feel like they were discouraged to leave their land, to watch, you know, they can't watch the rivers flow no more. um I feel like they were trying to hide. A lot of women listened to the ancestors. Their ancestors heard them. Some women got away because they listened to the ancestors and they went somewhere where people were scared to go. It's at least other men, not really the African men, but at least like the white men and other traders. And so some of the women did listen to their ancestors, and some of them went out and hid and did their thing, and they survived it. And survived it through Africa, survived through Africa and adapted to what was around them and was like healthy based, plant based, vegan women. I'm seeing a lot of women did that. See? Becoming lotuses and spiritualists and even more powerful. So I feel like there was a couple of women ancestors who listened to their spirits, and they ended up getting away and not being caught and taken over to slavery, and just lived out their lives by the lake and being isolated a little bit and being spiritual and adapting to what's around them. And you never know with God. You know, God probably was looking out for them, you know. Cleansing their energy, connecting with earth and nature. So being witches and mystical healers and connecting with God and reaching their destination. Some women took a sword and went against the African man, against the black man. It's kind of making me think of that movie real quick that just came out. What's that movie? It just came out about the Dahomey people. I forgot what it's called, y'all, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It's on Netflix. It just came out. It's about the Dahomey people. I think it's called Queen something. I want to try to remember. I'm going to do a reading on that show, the Book of Negroes. I just know it was in Dahomey. I'm going to do a separate reading on the slave trade. And I'm going to talk about the Columbia River. I'm going to talk about Angola, Queen Lazinga, and all that. Okay? The Dahomey. That's separate. But I feel like a lot of women took courage and fought against the African man and some of the white slave traders. I see that. All right. Any more cards I'm pulling on the women? Or am I done here? Oh, yes. My African goddess cards. All right. What African ancient ancestors were surrounding the women around this time? What African ancient ancestors were surrounding the women around this time? Ooh, alchemy, Queen Nefertiti. See, I knew we have Egyptian ancestors, ancient ones. They don't want to admit it though. They were spiritual. A lot of them practiced rituals. A lot of them connected with their ancestors. A lot of them did a lot of manifestation. A lot of them used their intuition. It's like women were so smart. A lot of them did their resistance. A lot of them used their beauty, they cootie, what they got, they used that to help them. A lot of it worked. And then we have a lot of women who actually were grieved, who were caught, who were pregnant on the ship. It's just, it's pretty bad. All right, let me get to the next questions because I'm not going to be too long. It's already 2 hours. I can't believe this shit. I never thought I would do a video this long. The women knew that they were hexed by their men. And they were very indigo and sensitive. So it's like they knew. They knew. They knew their men were bringing negative energy on them. They knew their man was bringing a heavy, hot. They knew their man was bringing something very dark and like hideous over waters, which was devil-like energy. they were wise enough to know it. And I feel like some of the women were trying to warn the man, like, I wouldn't trust Tubop. I wouldn't trust the Tubop. I wouldn't trust, but they were ignored. Like, you're just a woman. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut up. This is men business. Shut up, bend over, and do what you put. Like, stuff like that. Like, it's pretty pathetic. All right. Let me jump on my next question, y'all, because time is passing. All right. I had more questions than I expected. I might stop this, you guys. I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to do a part 2 video. Okay, another part 2. So I will see you guys in the next video, and thank you. Before I do that, I'm gonna talk 10 more minutes. I'm gonna ask one more question for 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna stop it at 2 hours. So hopefully you guys watch this video. I will be uploading it. It will be 2 videos uploaded tonight. Please enjoy it. Because after that, y'all, I'm not going to be uploading for like, I can't say, because I might upload in the middle of the week. Who knows? Because it's like noon already. I got to get started on my math homework. Like, geesh. I have to move cards out the way so I can get on the next subject. Because I gotta say, because I'm about to say something myself. Alright, Shango. Alright, Shango is the Orisha of strength, confidence, bravery, and the lover's man, okay? He's a lover's guy. He was very handsome. A lot of women wanted him. He had 3 wives, probably more than that, but we know for 3 for sure. And to be honest, when the slave trade was going down, Shango was not in sight right away, but because he didn't know. But then he came kind of like at the last minute and seen it going down and was like disappointed. But when it was happening, and to be honest, it doesn't really matter what, you know, Orisha showed up, showed out, didn't show up. This was God's will. So the Orishas really couldn't do anything but just sit back and watch and be sad. And guide us. And so Shango was the one guiding the man to keep courage, women too, to keep courage, to keep strength, to be confident, to be brave, okay? So Shango, what was your energy towards our ancient men ancestors? Not ancient, you are the ancient ancestor, but what was your energy towards the our men ancestors from 500 years ago? 3 of Swords in reverse. In reverse, Shango? Okay, so in so many words, Shango was saying, like, you know, I'm over it with the man. Like, yes, my heart is broken. Yes, I'm upset, but I'm over it with the men because they wasn't listening. They were being hard-headed. They were stepping on fire, and they didn't realize that it was going to be this tough, okay? He feel like y'all should have been more stronger and been more adapted, and try to find a way to help y'all women instead of trying to go against them. It does bother Shango that you guys kind of tricked yourself and was deceived into going into a different world, which is, you know, a different place where it wasn't abundant, where it was sneaky, where it was like a snake over the world, where you wasn't going to be happy. Your dreams was going to be shut down, and you guys just did not want to work together and make peace and bring abundance to your country. You guys went out trying to find other options and other resources with this 8 of Cups in reverse, and you didn't get to leave. You're stuck. Not only are you stuck, but you're stuck walking on fire. Here goes God. I feel energetically Shango trying to reason with God himself, and God's like, no, my decision is my decision. I don't even feel God saying, no, my decision is my decision. I just feel him not responding. And so I see Shango having to accept the truth and watch men be treated like an outcast and ventured off. All right, Shango, let's get some more of your energy towards the African men as they were being traded off. Let's get your energy towards the men. He was judging the men. He was judging them because they didn't shield and protect their families. They only thought about themselves and what they wanted and their desires, and they put themselves on high fire. You see this man over here walking on fire, on coals, because of him not trying to be, because he didn't want to be strong and protect. He wanted to try to go and see what else was out there. He wanted to be jealous and try to be like somebody else. So now, because y'all are in this new world that's deceiving, that's sneaky, that's trickster, it's a snake right there, that's corrupt, now you are having anxiety. Now you're stressed out. You know, you're not sleeping good now. You're working hard. You put this is the 3 of coins working. 3 of coins. You put yourself, no, 3 of wands, I'm sorry. Now you have no choice but to keep going into something that you're working hard for and you're not getting back. The 7 of coins in reverse. You see how this person is working hard? And with this is building, but it's in reverse. So you see how the ground is all empty, and let me put it in upright so you can see how it's all empty, nothing's growing, the soil is dry. It's in reverse though, so nothing's really happening. So now you're stuck in a world where the resources is hard for them. It's hard for them. I do see Shango trying to manipulate the energy to make things easier for our ancestors. This is the 7 of wands in reverse, but it's a hard fight. Actually, it's a fight that he wasn't able to conquer. So I actually see Shango doing spiritual work to try to make the load easier on our male ancestors in general. And the fight, you're doing that spiritual fight, you fighting, it's not doing nothing. And so there it goes again, the men being taken from their kingdom. This is the King of Cups in reverse. Not only that, with this King of Cups in reverse, and it's upside down, which you lost your kingdom, but now you don't get to have feelings. You don't get to have emotions. You don't get to fall in love. And if you do fall in love, it's taken from you. We women get mad right now about a guy breaking our heart and walking out on us. But think about our women ancestors who had a man they were with. They were both in slavery. They had 3 kids with him, and the man was just taken away and moved to another state and sold. And they never got to see that man again. That is worse heartbreak than what we women go through now when we dealing with those no good dudes who walk away, who don't bring clarity to the relationship, and they get distant. All those men are doing is just doing what their ancestors is doing. They're doing what their man. It's like a habit. It's not. I'm not gonna say it's not their fault. It's just something that is it's something that's mentally there. It's something that the man did. It's something that the white men did in slavery when they took them from their families. And so now it's just a habit of black men just walking away from their families, walking away from relationships without no explanation, because they were taken away from their families in slavery without no explanation besides just being sold. And so it's something that hasn't stopped. And then keep in mind, a lot of our ancestors, the slave ones, they are reincarnated into these stupid niggas today. A lot of them are reincarnation into these ignorant dudes today. You really have to think about that, because there is a past life. We all have them. Some of these men today were past life slaves, so they're just doing the same thing they did in the past life, except this time it's nobody taking them. They're freely walking away. And so that's what Shango is talking about. So now you can't be able to fall in love. You can't be able to love somebody, because as soon as you do, they may get taken. All right, Shango, let me get a little more energy. And then I'm going to do the other. I don't know, I might keep going. It just depends, because the thing is, I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more questions. And so I really think I should cut it off and put that in another video. And y'all just gonna have to watch it. If y'all don't, y'all don't. Like, I would advise you to. I just see anger. I see Shango is saying a lot of black men were provoked and provoked and they couldn't do nothing but just be angry. And then if you had a temper, something happened. So they had to hold their temper in. They had to hold their self in. They had to hold their emotions in and shut up. And listen and deal with the karmic wheel of luck. It's just, it's like in my last reading. It was just their turn. Their turn. Yeah. A lot of them, Shango was just saying a lot of them were in the balance of, you know, like missing their families and trying to fix what they messed up. But the judgment's here right next to the tower in reverse. So they tried to clean it up. Like, you know what? We change our mind. Let's just, you know, maybe you could take some of the women. We'll give you some of the women. Like I said, some kings were trading their mom. You could keep some of the women. We'll even give you some of our young men. But, you know, leave us alone. We have our kingdom. Let's just trade and work on trading. And the white man's like, no, you could be king. Be king of your kingdom. You could be king. But we're taking everybody from your kingdom. But you can still be king. So this is a king with nobody there. Nobody there. Nobody there. We're going to take your memories, your children. We're going to enslave their children's children. All right. 3 more messages, Shango. And then I am going to end this video and do another one. I'm going to do a part. This is part 2, so I'm going to do video 2 for part 2, okay? You stand in the light of truth, discovering the truth. Once you got to this new land, you discovered that it's not like you think. You have to follow these guys. You have to do what they say. You have to build on it. You see how the land is much better in a different country? You have to build on it. You have to make it work. Wandering path. Look. Finding sanctuary. So a lot of them prayed. A lot of them prayed. A lot of them connected with their spirituality. They had to hide their spirituality. And they had to... it came out again with the Shango. Shango finally gave up, though, because I see Shango fighting and trying to reason with God, trying to fight himself. So what Shango just did was, like, you know what? I'm going to help y'all find sanctuary. I'm going to help y'all connect with y'all spiritual self so y'all can be brave through this and find strength. And I'm just going to, like, help y'all heal and mend and release. Release trying to be in control because you lost it. Release control and just go on the boat. It came out again. So look, y'all, I'm going to end this video. I'm about to get ready to start on part 2, video 2, okay? Have a good day.